Everyone has a copy? Yeah. Everyone has a copy? Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Yeah. Josh, you basically gave my meeting away. Oh, I didn't give you one. Did you want one?
Yes.
Yeah, you talked about everything I was talking about. It was great. But it's a perfect transition. No, Josh is right. I don't get paid for this, and we're only a couple of towns over. I don't expect you calling me up saying, Jay, here's a referral for you. You know, I really genuinely do this because I feel I do have good info to give away. So before I get into that, and I'll explain why, and thank you for inviting me in here, Josh. We're in a challenging market, yes?
Yes.
Okay, we're not booming with sales like it was 2002, 2020, 21. I want to share this story real quick. Back in October, I started decorating my house for Christmas. I'm a huge Christmas fan, and now that I have my daughter who knows what Christmas is, I created a big Christmas show for her, but I became obsessed with it. So obsessed that I lost focus on my business. I decorated for 2 months. I created this big event in Smithtown. It was on News 12. There were 400 people there, and it had nothing to do with work or a charity. It was just on my heart, and I loved it. I'll never forget it as long as I live, but I lost focus on work. January, it took me 6 weeks to de-decorate. I didn't get back in the office until February, and I said, crap, I only have 2 deals going into the new year. It's just awful. It's terrible. I can't live. I had to go back to basics, and I lost confidence. So what did I do? I just went back to basics. That's all I did. But I was grinding back to the basics. Guys, everything I have in here is nothing new that you don't know already. Even if you're a new agent, Josh, Douglas Summit offers a ton of training to do. There's nothing new in here. But what I do is I have top 10 activities that you should be doing to build your business. Whether you're new or a phenomenal seasoned agent, this stuff works because it's working for me now. Okay, so I'm going to go over that, and I also gave examples with that. Okay, so stay with me. Okay, sound good? Yep. All right, let's go right into it. First thing, create a business plan. You guys can't come into real estate and just say, "Oh, my friend sold 20 houses last year. He did. I can do it." You can't come in here with your hands in your pocket and expect business to come to you. You got to have a goal, have a business plan. Write it down. I write down my business plan every quarter, not even every year. I go in with a goal. But I've got a plan on what I'm going to do to achieve it. And if I surpass that, I write another business plan. Okay? I remember, again, back in 2021 when everyone had record years. I had a certain goal I wanted to hit, and I already achieved it by like March. I could have just sat back and said, this is great. But I kept reinventing my goals. I had to write a whole new business plan. So I kept doing what was working for me, but I also added in other things. So I gave you guys an example business plan. This is a generic example. Let's say you guys want to do 12 homes in 2025, okay? Josh hit the needle on the head about all these things that you have to do, right? I'm just using 12 as an example. Sounds worthy enough. You do 12 homes, you're going to be an award-winning agent, okay? What's the objective? Close on 1 house a month, okay? But look at the strategy I wrote down, and this is just 3 strategies. Call 5 expireds a week. What'd you say, Josh? 5? 5 people, that was it, right? Call 5 expireds a week. Call 5 people you know every week. Convert 5 buyers a week, whatever it is. If you can just contact 15 people a week, which is nothing, okay? I mean, we should be doing that on the phone in an hour or 2, right? 444. So look at how the numbers come out to it. Contact all your groups once a day, 5 a week, 20 a month, 240 a year, all 3 groups, 720 people. Contact 720 people, you'll do your 12 deals. But that's a 2% conversion rate. That's pitiful. If you're only converting 2% of your contacts out there, that's pretty bad. You need to up your game. But that's still not bad if you're talking to 720 expireds, sphere of influence, buyers, all combined. But don't make it look like it's all on one platter at once. You got to do it all year long. Break it up. But just do that. So if I'm calling back expireds. I'm going back to my old roots. I haven't called expired in a couple of years, but I'm calling them. I have my own little script. I have my own little thing. I door knock. I have a whole strategy, and it's working.
What are you saying, if you don't mind?
I'll get into scripts. I have no problem what you want to say. I just don't want to lose track on this. But yeah, I don't do the whole Tom Ferry scripts. I've been there, done that. I'm not saying they don't work. What works for me is I just be very genuine, and I ask if they want to sell. And I'll get into it, but I'll help you. Yeah. So look, you have a business plan, right? I go in with a business plan, I have a goal, and I have to find out what I do day by day. What are my activities every single day? Now, it's hard to have a whole structured schedule from 9 to 5 every single day. I get it. We can't just skip that, because if you get a phone call and somebody wants to sell their $1 million house down the block, you're going, okay? So I get it. You can't stick to a schedule, but if you can stick to prospecting, and I promise, if you just prospect just 2-3 days a week, it's nothing, an hour each day, you'll make $100,000. Next one. All right, sphere of influence. I gave you guys a very generic copy of Sphere of Influence, 5 ways to leverage them for your business. I have my notes saved from Douglas Elliman when I first joined, what would they call it, boot camp or something like that for 2 weeks? Yeah. I have my notes saved, handwritten, and I still look back at it. And I have all my Sphere of Influence saved from people I know, people I used to work with, my family, my friends, and I had them in categories. But you can't just, everybody does the easy way out. You just throw on Facebook, hey, I'm in real estate now, give me a call. That's not work. You can't just tell a couple hundred people that for 5 seconds. You got to work it and grind it every day. So if you're going to build a business just based on your sphere of influence, just that alone, then do it and build a business out of it, okay? And make a whole CRM and contacts with your sphere of influence and build it up as you go along, day by day, month by month, year by year, and it's going to come together. How many agents that we know that have a successful business just based on their past clients and sphere of influence? I'm jealous of it, because that's something I messed up, okay? I started 15 years ago, and I didn't start contacting my sphere of influence and past clients like 2 or 3 years ago. And it's working. And I'm very analytical on my numbers. And I analyze my past deals. I'm like, wait, I got that many referrals from my sphere of influence? Why didn't I do this 10 years ago? So build that sphere of influence and stay in touch with them. Find some sort of program or something that works for you. Don't just give them a call every 6 months. A CRM database, MailChimp, Studio Pro, networking with them, having past client parties. It works. Here's the next one. Networking. I don't even have to go that far into it. Josh already went into it. But I've been going back to networking events. It works. Did I get a deal out of it? No, but I'm getting my face out there all the time. And if you ask me where I'm finding these networking events, I just Google them. I do whatever I can. I join these networking groups. And just a week and a half ago, maybe, I went to, which was a great conference, the Artificial Intelligence Conference at CW Post. Hundreds of people there. It was great. $30. And I network with them. And I just went around. And that's the thing with networking events, too. Don't just go to a networking event and sit at your table. You know everybody. I go there, I have my name badge on, I'm ready to go. I've got 100 cards, and my job is to get rid of every single one of them. And I will go table to table, room by room, and meet every single buddy and say, hi, how are you? My name's Jay from Douglas Elliman. Nice to meet you. What do you do for work? You know, like, you can't be embarrassed doing that. And then I'll get your card, and I will call or text you right after that and ask you if you want to go for lunch and get to know each other. Not as a date. Okay, but that's what I would do, and it works, and it just adds up, and it adds up, and then people are going to take you up on it because like-minded people want to build a business with you, right? And keep at those networking events. But you got to do at least, I don't know, try to get one a week if you can. And I know we have lives. We've got kids. I got 2 kids now. We have families. We have personal lives. I'm out there grinding, doing it. I got to tell my wife I'm not coming home tonight. I'm sorry. I have work. Developing your skill. That should go without saying. There's so much training out there, but you got to be prepared and confident to develop your skill. If you don't have it, then you're not going to be able to pick up the phone and do it. So make sure you develop your skill. Online presence. I'm starting to do this a little more. I know we live in a world of social media and everything like that now, but you got to get your name out there, especially in online right now. Try it little by little, that's all. My bread and butter town, I'm sure you guys have a bread and butter town or area, right? My bread and butter town is Levittown. I just took out 5 bus bench ads out there, you know? And my name's back out there. And what also worked for me, believe it or not, is I invested these in yardsticks. Really cheap. I think I got them made from like AAA or something like that, front and back. It says Jason.orsini, Levittown expert. I got like 300 of them. I just walk around town, boom, right on the Hempstead Turnpike. I got people, I saw your ugly face. Great, my name's out there.
And you're allowed to just put them anywhere?
Yeah, nobody stops you.
Buys 300, so when they throw them out.
Yeah, I don't care. And if somebody says I can't put it, I didn't do it. Somebody else did. I can't stop them. Social media we talked about. Of course, we have to get on social media. And you know what's interesting is that I even said to myself, these top 10, these 10 activities that I'm going over, you don't have to do every single one. Do what works for you, but stick to it and be consistent with it all year long. You know, because you can't be an expert on every single 10 of them, because there's only one of you, you know. So if you can pick 2 or 3 out of them and build a business out of it, you're going to succeed. Somebody just said they were doing mailings. That's great, right? You did 500, right? So I and myself am starting to implement mailings. I know I want to do 1,000 to 1,500 a month. I did this years ago, no lie, years ago, maybe 3 years ago, whatever it was. And I did it for 2 months and I stopped and I'm mad. But I got a listing out of it. Why didn't I keep it going?
Because you got a listing out of it, so you stopped.
I don't want to use excuses, but I started getting swamped and I said, all right, I'll do it later.
Right.
But that's the problem, right? Don't we get too busy and then we get sidetracked? But then we got to keep that going, right? So it works. This stuff works. CRM, obviously, if you can build, don't use me as an example because I'm starting to do it now over the last couple of years, but building your CRM, using Studio Pro, using MailChimp, keeping people in touch, just do it like a set it and forget it. Work all 24 hours in one day and just set it and forget it to your clients and send out newsletters and everything like that once a month. It works. Just keep your face out there and keep building on it. What I've been doing now is at open houses, if we're getting 30, 40 people and I'm getting them to sign in, I'm throwing them right into my CRM. And I'm letting them know at open houses that I have exclusive opportunities. I call it opportunities. Joe Toscano wants me to patent that. Exclusive opportunities, okay, that nobody else has access to, and I can give this to you before they even go on Zillow or MLS. Would you like to have access to that, Mr. Buyer? Oh, yeah. Nobody's ever said no to that, especially in the market we're in. And I was doing this before when we had inventory. Now they're dreaming over it.
Which CRM do you use?
MailChimp. But Studio Pro is great because it's free, you know, but I like both. Yeah. Expired listings. Guys, expired listings is where it's at. You've got sellers out there that want to sell. They just hate their last agent, you know. So I like to call myself where I became the expired listing pro. And you asked me before what I'm saying. I got to be prepared. I can't just call up and cold call a seller and say, hey, I heard your home expired. I'm pulling the house off MLS. I'm taking like 7 or 8 or 10 different notes on why that house didn't sell. And I'm going to explain why it didn't sell to them. As long as I can just get in the door, you know. But expired listings is where it's at. And so say you wanted to just build your business on just expired listings. That's great. I know a ton of agents that just build a business on expired listings. But make it a program day after day, week after week. It's not easy. You know, if you have a list of expired listings, wherever you're printing them out, if it's 20 listings that you want to chase after, I've got a system that will work to get those listings. You'll probably get half of them if you can just do it the right way. It's not just cold calling and say, all right, that's it, I called 20 listings today. We all know, we got to nurture them. Contact them 10, 12 times before we get the listing, or even if we get it, right? It's a lot.
How far back do you go for your expires?
I don't care. If it's not on the market and it hasn't sold, I'm calling them.
But are you looking back like a year?
I go through the archives.
Oh, you just go, okay.
Oh, yeah. I go back if it expired 3 years ago. Even yesterday. And you know what's great? Pull up withdrawal listings. Withdrawal listings. Pull up listings that were on the market, but they just took it off the market. That's a good one, too. And then, guys, open houses. I built my career in the first 7, 8 years just doing open houses, converting buyers. So I have a whole system to convert buyers when they're at open houses, especially with everybody coming today. And I get the whole thing today where everybody that comes, they have an agent that just sends them from Zillow because they clicked on Zillow and they said just go to the open house or something like that. I get it. But if they're not there and they don't have a signed contract, it's fair game. But I've even converted buyers that did have a signed contract. I wouldn't do it illegally, but I said, if things aren't working out with you and your contract expires, give me a call. But here's what I can do to help you. I can't step on his toes, but here's how I can help you. And it works. So I have a system converting buyers at open houses. So with these, by the way, in the packet with the social media, isn't artificial intelligence great? Is anybody using artificial intelligence?
I use
ChatGPT, yeah, everybody. That's right. So all I did was just give me a 30-day social media plan, and boom, it came right up.
Exactly.
That's all. So you got a 30-day social media plan. If you want to use social media as a plan of attack and build your online presence, here's what you do for 30 days. It's right there. I put in ChatGPT, give me 10 things to talk about to a buyer that's moving to Levittown tomorrow. Boom, gave me my topic. And, you know, I'm going to start doing that. I've been doing it recently with videos, and it gets your name out there. It keeps going. I get we're not going to get all this business tomorrow. I understand we're in the challenging economy, but I promise, if you follow these top 10 activities and you actually grind and get out and do it, you can't fail. I'm not saying you're going to get 20 tomorrow, but if we do this, continue through the year, and the market comes back, and then fruition, and then next year, it's just, your business is going to boom. So I promise, pick 2 or 3 or 4 out of these activities. But you really got to be consistent and grind with it. How many people here come in here full-time, 9 to 5 every day?
Probably me as close as possible.
Perfect. I know you do. Perfect. But I treat this like a 9 to 5 job. I got to get my kids at 5 o'clock. If I didn't have my kids, trust me, I would work till 12 o'clock at night. But, so we all have busy lives. I get it. I don't know what anybody else is doing. It's not my business. You have a full-time job. You have kids. You're sitting at home. But we should be in here every single day grinding. Business is not just going to come. You know? That's pretty much it. Okay? Any questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I always like to, do you have a morning routine?
Yeah, I work out. I do my triathlons and Ironmans. I work out at like 3:30, 4 in the morning.
Okay.
You beat me to it.
Okay.
But that keeps me going, and that starts my day. And it's all about time management, you know. You got the kids, you got family, you got work. I can't do it at 9 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So, but working out in the morning is my routine because that starts my day. And by the time I'm suited up by 7:30, I'm ready to conquer the world. And I feel great. Yeah, I hate days I don't work out. I hate it.
I noticed you have some stuff in here from Power Agent teams. Are you part of that?
I'm not part of it, but I do follow part of that schedule because right on that schedule it says, you know, call 5 past clients, call this, and I actually do go down the list sometimes. Okay, I did that, I did that, I did that. It's right in front of my face on my bulletin board, right in front of my computer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, put you on the spot, but so let's say you have to go back to day 1 in your business. What's the first 3 things that you're going to do?
Now or when I first started?
Like, if we had to reset your entire business, you move to another
Sure.
tomorrow.
In order.
Yeah.
In order. I'd call all my sphere of influence and every agent that I work with. If we're talking about moving on to another state, I'd probably call all you guys and every agent in the company and say, hey, I'm starting a new business in Florida or whatever it is, okay? But I'd be consistent doing that, keeping my face out there to you guys. Same thing with my sphere of influence, keeping them in the know. I'm now the new pro in Florida. Number 2, networking events. Get to as many networking events as much as I can. I would cold call people and everybody in my community, and I would door knock. Hey, I just moved here. I'm a top agent from New York. I would just get my face out there as much as possible, and I would not be afraid to ask for the business either. I would just ask them flat out. And then the networking events, and if I just started and don't have listings, I'd get to those agents in that office that have listings and say, I'd love to do your open house. When I first started, I was doing 4 open houses a weekend. Every weekend. But it's not like I would just go there and say, okay, I got my sign, let me just go here for 2 hours and go home. It was a whole day of work. You know, a whole day. What's that?
Tell me about that. How's it work?
Oh yeah, I'd get in the office at 9, 10 in the morning if I was doing an open house at 12 to 1:30, then 2 to 3:30. You got your signs, your flyers and stuff, but I had a different thing back when I first started, and I still do it today. I needed to come out with a different way to have an open house to convert buyers instead of just having a normal open house sheet. So I'd give them information that they can't get anywhere else. I'd have a buyer packet of information on how the buying process works. I'd give them reasons to come out into my office so I can counsel them and tell them how I can be their agent. I'd have a bottle of wine that I would raffle off for free and say, hey, if you put your real information, I'm going to raffle off a bottle of wine. But then none of them get it. I just keep it for myself and say, somebody else won. I'm sorry, but how can I help you? So stuff like that. But what's really helped me at these open houses is I do really let people know I have exclusive opportunities that nobody else has in the market. And if you give me your information with what you're looking for, I'll help you fill it in really quick before I take you on this tour. If this house doesn't work out for you, I can get you these properties before anybody else sees them, before they go online. Would Tuesday at 3 o'clock work for you if we can go over the buying process? I have an agent. All right, fine, I'll battle that. Okay? But it works. And you just do it and keep doing it all year long. And if you don't have an open house and you don't have your listing, I was emailing every agent in the company when I first started. Every week they hated me. Now I get it. It was a different market because we were in a buyer's market back then. there were hundreds of homes for sale, not going anywhere. Whereas now there's nothing where nobody wants to do an open house. I get it. But even contact people at other companies. And I'm one of them. Sometimes I've become a family guy now. And I could be suited up at 9 o'clock, ready to go work, and my daughter says, stay home today, and I'll fall for it. So I need help.
So, do you have like your open house process? Would you share a little bit of your open house sequence with us?
Sure. Yeah. So when I do my open houses, I have my own personalized open house signs because you're branding your own image. So I have that ready. I have my MLS flyer, but what I do on the back of that flyer that's helped me, especially if it's helping my seller, is I'll show the market report generator on how the prices are still going up. And I will actually use the conversion rates where people can discount points or do a 10-1 arm or something more affordable where it sounds more affordable even though they pay the asking price. So I'll have that information. I'll have a buyer's packet that says Jay's first-time home buyer packet to buy your first house in the market or something like that. So I have all this overwhelming amount of information that I have right at the sign-in table. And I do have my bottle of wine or a gas card or something like that ready when they sign in. On my sign-in sheet, along with of course, my disclosures, I have my sign-in sheet where I ask 10 generic questions that are very also specific about what they're looking for. And as they walk into that open house, I'm explaining what they have to do as they sign in. I don't want to take them on the tour until they fill that out. Before I get to that open house, I do a 1-hour preview to neighbors. And I don't do this 10-10 rule. I go to everybody on the block. Okay, and I go to everybody on the block and I give them a special flyer. I have a house that's for sale that may look like just yours. If you're interested in see what it looks like or know anybody that's looking to move in the area, come check it out. Just a preview just for you. Sometimes it works. Yeah. And then I will actually go out to local businesses and hand out flyers if they're close and stuff like that. So that way, again, it gets my name out there. You know what's been working for me too, Josh, guys? If I have open house, you guys know how we put open house signs on the corners? Joe Toscano taught me this. I knock on the neighbor's door. Excuse me, do you mind if I just put a sign over here? I don't want it to disrupt your grass or anything like that. Sure enough, one, I just met them now. And two, I've seen neighbors pick it up for me.
Oh, nice.
You know? And then, of course, during the open house, I do my thing. So when I get their questionnaire, I actually don't push them to sell the house, even though it is our job to sell that house. Yeah. It's our fiduciary responsibility to sell that house. But you're also there, if that doesn't work, you got to get business out of it, too, to convert the buyer. So your job is to sell the house, that's one thing, but also convert the buyer. So you got to know what questions to probe at the buyers. Don't be the typical agent and just ask them what they're looking for or something like that. You got to ask them true, meaningful questions that they've never been asked for. Are you familiar in my 5-step home buying process for first-time buyers?
Oh, what's that?
Why don't you come back to the sign-in sheet? I'll show you, and we'll go back to my office tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
Fantastic.
So it's all about, the rates are perfect. Do you have any idea how I can get your rate down even though you pay more money right now? I got to show you this, but I got to show you in my graph back at my office. Why don't you come back tomorrow at 2 o'clock? It's all about getting that appointment, So right after the open house, I always do open houses 1.5 hours because I know people tweedle in after that, so I'm prepared to stay if I have to. But I always call them right after the open house. I do not let them slip away. No, I do not wait till that night. I do not wait till the next day because they're going over open houses. They're talking to other agents. They're clicking on Zillow 10 times. They're going home with their families. They forgot you. So I call them right away. But I'm giving them information that they can't get anywhere else. And I'm not even calling them about the house. That's the first thing that separates me apart because if they liked the house, they would have called me, So I will call them and say, listen, I met you at the open house. I had you fill out the criteria sheet about what you're looking for. Do you have a second to go over it? Because I think I have opportunities for you that's coming up to the market that nobody else knows about.
Okay.
It works.
Right. Well, let me give you the good email. Yeah. Okay, so you're inviting the neighbors early. You're doing the whole block, 10, 10, 20s. You're giving them...
I'm giving them information, value, yes.
Coming in, then you follow up with them after.
Immediately.
Well, if you were looking at your business as a whole, what percentage of your business do you think is connected?
My first year, it was 99%. I mean, I did 20 deals. I did 19 buyer conversions just from open houses, and I had one listing. But I'd say now 30%, something like that, yeah.
Open houses.
Yeah.
What I've noticed is most people that are on the top end of the production list, they generally have like 3 go-to sources of business.
Sure.
Hearing open houses, what would your other 2 be?
My sphere of influence,
Okay,
networking.
okay. In sphere of influence, tell me about those conversations. How often do you?
Sure.
Do you mind?
No, I love this stuff.
camera
So what's
away.
been working for me doesn't work for everybody else. But what works for me is when I call them, especially, I like to use the example of somebody I haven't talked to in like 5 years.
Great.
Okay? Because look, we can all do something that's easy. I can call my mother or somebody I just sold a house to 2 months ago and we're on good graces. But if I sold you a house 5 years ago and you forgot me, I messed up. So what's been really working for me is I call them up and say, hey, it's Jason.orsini from Douglas Elliman. Believe it or not, I sold your house 5 years ago. Of course, it comes back to memory. I just wanted to call you because I just want to see how you're doing. I say you're doing great on social media. You got family, you got friends, et cetera, et cetera. I will not talk about real estate at all because it's going to come up naturally. So as we're talking, I'll get to know them. And in the end of the conversation, I will say this, and it's working. And do letters in this, too, to your sphere of influence. Listen, I've got a goal. I was wondering if you can help me out. I'll make it worth your while. I want to be number 1 in this company. I want to do 80 deals. I need your help. Would you be able to help me? Why don't we meet for lunch next week? I'll buy you lunch. I'll go over it with you. I haven't anybody said no to that. Yeah. And then on top of that, I will ask them and say, is it okay if I email you some great information about the real estate market? I'll keep you up to date.
And you're rocking a monthly newsletter, a weekly newsletter?
I do monthly.
Monthly?
Yeah.
And tell me about what's in that.
It's just, look, I'm going to be honest. It's not like people are coming back saying, I love your newsletter. This is great. And then I don't know what business comes directly from that. But I get feedback that people that say they love the content that I put out. So I'm very, very careful about the content I do put out to make sure it's relevant and trending on what's going on in the market.
Tell me about that.
Well, when I do what I have right now, sphere of influence, about 1,200 people, you know.
I'm just saying, what's in your newsletter? You said good, relevant content.
Well, everybody's scared with the rates right now, where the market's going, so I try to stay on top of that, where the market's going. Where real estate going on, the prices are going on Long Island. If you look at, and the biggest thing everyone's afraid of, because there's no way to move to. You know, so where's the market going? When's there going to be inventory? What's going to happen? Where can I move to if I don't have any inventory right now? What else can I do? And not even just that, just sometimes it doesn't even have to directly relate to the real estate market. I'll just tell them things about how to spruce up their home for sale. If they have to, what's the least amount of money you can put into your house to get the most amount of money back? Anything that's related to that. Okay. A lot of the times it doesn't even relate to the market. A lot of the times it'll relate just to home stuff that they can use in their home to spruce it up or something.
Got it. Okay.
Jay, do you invest? Like, do you have properties over the years that you've bought?
I do. I've been very, knock on wood, smart with investments.
Okay.
And I do, yes.
Rental properties, flips?
Rentals.
Okay.
I'm starting to get in the flip game.
Okay.
I've done 3.
All right.
Oh.
But,
All right. Whoa.
yeah.
3 more than
More than me. Yeah.
than we've done.
But I have 5 rentals now.
Nice. Good for you.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
But it's tough. Anybody that thinks it's just passive income sitting back, it is not.
It is not.
You.
No. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Anything else, guys?
Yeah, anybody have any questions for Jay? I mean, go right.
Please.
But go right in.
Yeah.
What's a typical day look like for you? Do you do prospecting?
On a typical day where I'm conquering it and I feel great,
Yeah.
I'll get up at 3:30 in the morning, 4 in the morning. I'll swim a mile. I'll bike 20 miles. I'll run 5 miles. I'll do all that. I'll get my workout in. I feel great. I'll take my kids to daycare and school. Once I get to that office before it's 8:45, I will try the best I can to start calling at least 5 past clients or texting them. Just letting them know I'm there, whatever, past clients. Happy birthday, how you doing? Just checking in, my calls, whatever I just said. Prospecting, right? I will have a list of expired listings that I call. I will have planned a networking event if I can. And look, do the best I can to call expires and get a listing out of it. That's a whole day on its own. Now let's say it didn't go that way. I'll do the best I can to start getting more online presence. I'll get my mailings together. There's always, always something to do. Never, never anything not to do. Never. There's no reason to go into this office ever and just say, what am I going to do today? It's all here.
Do you do circle prospecting? Like
No.
listing?
No, expireds, withdrawals, neighbors. Yeah,
focus mainly on the expireds.
For now,
Okay,
because those are the people that
Yeah.
have to sell.
right.
You know?
exactly.
Everybody else, you guys know just as good as I do, people want to sell, but there's nowhere to go. And it's very hard to convince someone to come out and say, okay, but I can get you top dollar. Trust me, I'll put you in another home. That was a great process where I had a lot of confidence when there was inventory. Because if I didn't find you a house that was maybe 150, at least in my market in Levittown, I can tell you exact numbers. A normal market in Levittown is about 150 to 180 homes for sale in the summer. Now there's 36. 36 homes out of 17,000 homes. So how can I sit there and tell a seller that I can sell the house no problem and put you in the house tomorrow? And then the next question is, even if I did find you what you want tomorrow, 20 other people want it. And you didn't sell your house yet. It's a challenge. I get it. It's a challenge. But if they can trust the process and guide them through it, I just said this when I first started speaking, it's not going to happen tomorrow. But you stay with all these people and you hold their hand, you become their trusted confidant. Trust me, you're probably going to boom 10 deals in 1 month out of nowhere. It's going to happen. And that's how real estate is. I put the an example business plan here at 12. It's never one a month. It's 004. 116, you know.
So I think one big thing, open house is important. Because you have your sellers in disguise that are there. Chris, you just went through this, right? You have your sellers in disguise that are coming, right? So your opening question is, which home in the neighborhood are you coming from? So you can break them, whether they're a buyer or a seller in disguise. But if you start working those open houses, you're gonna fall back into their listing. If that buyer wants it, and they have to sell their house to get that one, you're gonna get a double header.
Yeah.
Crazy enough, you might get 4 sides.
I love those.
Yeah, half of North Fork, those people usually are coming from way out of town. They don't know. I break them off. They're a seller in disguise. And they got to sell something to buy. Can you sell our house? And then buy this one. And you put that all together, you might get 4 sides out of that piece.
And like I said, it doesn't happen overnight tomorrow, you know, and going back to what you were talking about open houses, I had open houses in Levittown last week. 2 days, I must have had a good 60 people. Had to. I was shocked I only had 4 offers.
Right.
And it's sad to say only 4, but I only had 4 offers. We put a deal together. But all the prospects I called, when I was there face to face, I was asking one owner. And then she just flat out told me I had to sell my house. And then it became a natural conversation. And you know what she said? I'm not ready to sell for 2 years. I'm not going to back off. I'm working with her. I'm taking her out. She's like, I'm not buying anything. I didn't say you had to. But I'm going to build her trust and be her agent when the time she has to sell.
You're a saint.
You know?
You are way better than me.
Look, but listen, if she asks me to take her out to 10 homes every weekend, take a hike. All right, if you're not ready to buy. But if you want to get your feet wet, you want to see a house here and there, if we have to build our trust, you invite me over to do a CMA, then I'll go. And 2 years may not be 2 years. They may just say that.
Yeah,
You know?
Right. They're lying.
So.
are you automatically doing the buyer agreement once you?
No, it's hard. It's hard. I'd say 25% of the time I have a buyer client. The rest of the time is just loyalty because I scare them. I scare them. Every buyer I have, if I try to, when I convert, I put them right in the office and I call it buyer counseling. And I sit down with them anywhere from a half hour to 2 hours. And I go over a whole entire packet with them. And I'm more than happy to share with you guys. I've had people proudly come out and say, new agents, one agent in the Massapequa office one time did this. Said, how do you like my packet? He took the same packet I had and just put his face and name on it. I said, that's great. And now he's a top agent. Not saying it's because of me. But that's what I do. So this is what works for me. So this is how I get paid, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer. I can represent you as a buyer, and I charge 3%, and I can do that whole thing. No, I'm not signing. Okay. So here's how I work. I work off loyalty. If you go to a single open house without me knowing, you risk getting scammed and losing thousands of dollars. And I can give you 10 horror stories where that's happened. I will work for you for free, wink, wink, right? But here's what I want from you. I want 2 referrals by the end of the year. People selling. That's the deal.
Wow.
Awesome. Anyone else have any?
Like, I'm gonna do that.
Get the buyers in your office to counsel them.
Are you going to change the way that you think about that with the new NAR rule?
Yes.
No.
You're still still gonna do the whole loyalty speech.
Oh, no, I'll try to sign. You said the way I think. No, I'll try to sign them on, but it's just about educating them. You gotta. Everybody out there thinks we're overpaid or something like that, and now the sellers out there think that you don't have to pay 5% commission. That's not even close to how it works. If you know enough about the new rule and the new law, you can educate them on that. I'm fine with it. I have no problem with it.
Awesome. Anyone else have any questions for Jay? Go.
Good.
Jay, thank you so
Thank you,
much
guys.
for sharing your